Hey, Bwanji Malawi, you better pause that scrolling because today's Nkani Zalero isn't your usual tea time gossip. Nope, this one's fire straight from the political oven. Former President Peter Mutharika has decided it's showtime, pulling files on some of the biggest names in Malawi's media and regulation scene. MBC Director General George Kasakula and MACRA boss Daudi Suleman. Now, if you thought retired president means sitting quietly and watching Tukufiranji, think again. Mutharika has stepped back into the headlines, shaking tables that have been gathering dust. The airwaves are buzzing. Is it accountability finally walking in the room, or political chess in full motion? You're watching at Global Pulse News, the home of bold talk and real insight. Grab your tea, tighten that chitenje, because today we are unpacking the top 5 facts behind the media storm that's got the whole nation saying, Eya, tape zankanitu. Let's set the stage, because before we start throwing shade, we must know who's sitting under which tree. Peter Mutharika, the man at the center, is not just any ex-president. He's the polished professor, the one who once sat in State House running things with academic precision and political discipline. After leaving power, many thought he'd go quiet, but Baba, he's back, and not for small talk. On the receiving end, George Kasakula, the big boss of MBC, Malawi's state-owned broadcaster, the one that beams everything from presidential speeches to village dramas. A veteran journalist once praised for bold reporting, he's now in the hot seat. And standing next to him on this roller coaster is Daudi Suleman, the head honcho at MACRA, the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, aka the watchdog of frequencies, digital TV, and all things on air. So what's the fuss? According to reports, Mutharika isn't just whispering concerns. He's formally questioning their conduct, calling for accountability over how public communication platforms are being run. The story broke across major outlets, catching everyone by surprise, like lightning on a clear afternoon. Now imagine this as a Malawian soap opera. Act 1 opens with Mutharika holding files. Act 2 zooms into Parliament whispers. And Act 3, Kasakula and Suleman standing in front of committees explaining themselves. Why does this matter? Because these two, MBC and MACRA, aren't just ordinary offices. They shape how you hear the news, what the nation watches, and how the truth reaches the people. When their leadership is in question, it's more than headlines. It's the voice of the nation on trial. But you think this is just about names? No. Let's open the envelope. The real issue is what Mutharika says he's discovered inside those dusty files. So here's where the flames start. According to credible sources like Malawi 24 and The Nation, the former president's exposés didn't come out of thin air. Mutharika reportedly pointed to irregular management practices, political interference, and misuse of public resources within the two institutions. A cabinet circular later confirmed the suspension of 3 senior officials, including the bosses of MBC and MACRA, pending investigations into undisclosed matters. Now, when the government starts using that polite phrase, undisclosed matters, you know it's something bigger than just missing paperclips. Sources whisper that internal audits flagged questionable decisions, spending outside procurement guidelines, unbalanced coverage favoring certain political figures, and weak oversight on licensing revenues. One insider described it as the system eating itself. Ouch! Meanwhile, Kasakula has had his share of rough moments. Remember when he reportedly faced pressure from party loyalists after one controversial broadcast? Yeah, the man once had to apologize live on air, a moment that many said felt like national reality TV gone wrong. Mutharika's decision to blow the whistle sends 2 messages. First, that even the mighty must account for their actions. And second, that control over Malawi's information space is still a battlefield of influence and power. You see, in a country where the microphone is mightier than the machete, whoever controls the media controls the narrative. And when that narrative tilts, public trust slides. But hold on, this isn't just a blame game. Behind the headlines is a deeper debate. What happens when the watchdogs themselves get bitten? Let's talk about that. All right, let's take a step back and breathe, because here's the heart of the matter: freedom versus control. Malawi's media landscape has always been colorful. Private outlets pushing boundaries, public broadcasters juggling neutrality, and regulators trying to keep everyone on the right frequency. But every few years, the dance turns into a tug-of-war. NBC, as a state broadcaster, has a dual identity, a public service voice and a political megaphone. MACRA, on the other hand, is supposed to be the referee, issuing licenses, maintaining ethics, and keeping digital communication fair. When both end up under scrutiny at once, the referee and the player look suspiciously alike. For ordinary Malawians, it's confusing. When they tune into TV Malawi, they expect information, not propaganda. When they buy data bundles, they expect regulation that protects, not stifles. But lately, people have begun to ask, are these institutions still serving citizens, or are they serving politics? And that's where Mutharika's dramatic comeback gains weight. He's not just calling for resignations, he's reviving a national conversation. Should our public information systems be politically free or government-owned? The media fraternity, civil society organizations, and journalism students across Mubas and Chancellor College are already debating it. One student on campus said, if Kasakula and Suleman fall, it's a message that no one is untouchable. Another said, if they survive, it means accountability is just performance. See the irony? Either way, it's a defining moment. Freedom is like a microphone. If you hold it too close, you distort the sound. If you let it fall, nobody hears you. Now that we've decoded the media maze, the million-kwacha question remains. What happens next? Shake-up or cover-up? Let's weigh the odds.
Okay, picture this like a Malawian courtroom drama. Everyone's waiting for the verdict, and the nation's popcorn is running out. If the investigations go the reform route, here's what we might see. Transparent inquiry, published reports, institutional audits made public, and, if charges are proven, new leadership for NBC and MACRA. That's the dream scenario. Clean up the house, restore faith, and prove that oversight works. But if it takes the repeat show route, then brace yourself. We'll get a few committee meetings, heavy statements about ongoing reviews, maybe a reshuffle, and then, poof, silence. The story fades into the background, and the same merry-go-round spins again. History gives us reason to be cautious. Malawi has seen commissions formed with great energy that later turned into sleeping giants. Remember the Cashgate follow-ups? Exactly. So which way will it go? Optimists believe Mutharika's move will trigger a genuine cleanup, because it sets a precedent. No office too big to question. Skeptics say it's a political play, a strategic attempt to reassert influence as the 2025 election winds approach. Either way, the stakes are national. When communication organs get shaken, democracy feels the quake. And as Malawi citizens wait for answers, one thing's certain: the truth won't stay buried forever. And now, before you log off and say, "Eish, dale zakulilongwe zinza topesa," here's why you should still care. Listen, my friend, this story is not for politicians only. It touches your wallet, your screen, your freedom. When public media and regulators go off track, the ripples reach you. Prices of communication can shift, content can be filtered, and truth can be massaged. You might not notice it instantly, but slowly your news diet changes. Less objectivity, more propaganda. Imagine a radio caller in Zimba being cut off for criticizing a minister, or a TV documentary shelved because it hits too close to power. Those aren't fictional examples. They happen when institutions forget their purpose. Media freedom is like fresh air. When it's there, you breathe easily without thinking. When it's gone, you start choking and wonder what changed. That's why you should care. If Mutharika's actions lead to real change, you'll have stronger institutions and more balanced coverage. If it's just politics, we'll all be stuck in the same loop, where accountability is a song that plays only during campaign season. And as a citizen, your voice counts. Don't be a spectator clapping for chaos. Ask questions, demand answers, support truth-telling journalism. Because in the end, a nation is as strong as the honesty of its conversation. All right, facts laid out, angles explored, truths unpacked. Let's wrap this like a newsroom on deadline. So now, what? You've heard the facts, you've seen the stakes, and the files are open. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Drop your comment below. Do you believe Peter Mutharika's actions will bring real change, or is this just another round of political recycling? If you love this kind of fearless breakdown, click that subscribe button, smash the bell icon, and stay connected with @GlobalPulseNews, where truth meets energy. And hey, for your kids and family fun time, check out our sister channels @SparklingKids and @RaymaFatima. Fun, learning, and creativity rolled into one. Stay bold, stay curious, and, as we say in Blantyre, Musaleke kuwamika. Truth, siyimwa mafuta.